Hey, coming up right now, a new study reveals just what men think of natural lips versus those big pouty ones.
Ooh, also coming up, some teen boys are going to the extreme when it comes to weight loss, why one actor seems to be the inspiration.
A little bit later on, Lil Nas X was rushed to the hospital after complaining about a strange sensation, and we'll tell you what that's all about.
My goodness. Well, Daily Flash starts right now.
Get ready for trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. The fun starts right now. This is Daily Flash.
Hey, everyone. I'm Andrea Jackson.
And I am Mitch English. If you are a 1950s musical expert, we would love for you to hang out with us.
Yes.
We're trying to think of songs from those sets because my jacket is reminiscent of
Music Man.
Music Man.
And I was trying to think of the
Yeah.
song in that Gary, Indiana, and it just came to me.
Maddie, I need your help on. Matt Doolittle is also joining us. He's sitting right over there. Hey, Maddie.
Hello. What can I help you with?
Can I get Cam get Cam one shot? This is I get my hair cut, and if I do it too much, I wind up getting the serial killer cut when it hangs. You know, when your sides are too short.
Oh, yeah.
And it always does. So all day today, I'm gonna be. It does. It's a serial killer haircut. When it like
After
it's real
you've
short.
been in prison.
And after I've been in
Yeah.
prison, and the Music Man. So there you
Because
go.
you like it a little more short on the side, but longer on top.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's most serial killers.
And
do.
let me ask you all this: if you're a barber or if you're a hairstylist, if that person is completely bald, do you trust them to do your hair? Joel,
I trust skinny chefs.
skinny chef. That's a good point.
Skinny
yeah.
chefs. Gordon Ramsay, I trust him.
Okay, all right, good. Because I love he's a big muscle dude, right?
And he's bald.
And I go, I don't know how I feel about this. First time I did my hair, he does a great job.
But see, here's the thing about bald guys is that they own it, and I love that.
Yeah.
Like none of this wrap around, comb over nonsense. Bald is sexy. Go for it, embrace it. So I feel like that's a confident dude.
It's the last thing we get to hold on to, I think,
Yeah, I
as
know.
men, and so we want to hold on to it as much as possible. But anyway, so my serial killer hair, yeah, I think eventually I'll look like Curly from one of the Three Stooges when I go bald. I just have to accept that now.
You do.
You know
Just
what I'm saying?
accept it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yes, let's
Yes.
talk to our bald
Now, is he
cameraman.
really bald because he's tattooed?
Come over here. I think you're in the dark.
Honestly, if you were to shave your head
Yeah.
and grow a beard, right?
Yes, I'm with you.
I'm
yeah.
telling you, that's the new face.
That is.
Yeah.
hot.
Triple H does it.
It's hot.
WWE. Yeah.
All right.
Because here's the thing, there's a certain
I think that's what I need to do,
confidence.
okay.
I think that's what it is. There's a sexy confidence about guys who are bald because they're like, I own it. This
I
is
have that
me.
fake confidence. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, I think a lot of people think because especially a long time ago, I think I came off like I wanted to own the room, and then I realized nobody likes that guy too much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I started
I
wanting to
gotcha.
be a little bit more softer about
Yeah.
that. One guy that I love being in any room is this guy to my right, Matt Doolittle.
Hey!
So you know what you guys can do for us? You can go to our website,
Yeah.
dailyflashshow.com. Some great behind-the-scenes content on there. We're giving away some movie screenings coming up too, because it's a big blockbuster summer. So we're definitely gonna be
Cool.
doing some giveaways on there. We go in there, and you can send us a note, flash@dailyflashshow.com.
Thank you there, Maddie. We'll be checking in with Matt coming up in just a few minutes with other great stuff.
I just realized I did not get the Easter pastel pink memo.
And I mean, it's still
Yeah.
a trend.
Looks good.
You always
Looks
look
good. You guys look
fantastic.
great. You guys look awesome. All right, we're talking about the Pope, right?
You know, big thing. Obviously, we all know we haven't necessarily.
What a shocker! He was,
yeah,
you know,
Easter, too.
and on Easter Sunday he was out with the masses. He met with our very own vice president. He had was on the balcony. He was in the Pope Mobile, and then that following Monday, we all woke up to the news that he had passed away. Died of a stroke.
Yeah, which they had come out officially
Yeah.
and said that. And this is a pope that really, if you think about it, just really worked with the times. I know
Yeah.
that first off, he was the first, I think, European pope in over 1,000 years.
South America.
South America. Okay.
Yeah.
And he also had really kind of made the bridge, I guess, with the LGBTQ community.
Very
with some-
progressive,
yeah,
yes. He
very
came from a
progressive. That's
very
great way to say it.
progressive background as far as where he was coming from, his thoughts, his ideas with regard to sexuality, with regard to women in the religion,
Yes,
with
right.
regard to, having sex before marriage, having kids out of wedlock, using birth control, all of these tenets that were kind of pillars of the Catholic religion. He seemed to say, hey, we could look at this a different way.
He actually, those in the Vatican, put more women in
Yes.
leadership roles
Yeah.
in the Vatican. So he had done a lot. The interesting thing for me is I love the Catholic Church because of tradition of what they do,
Yes,
and now
yes.
finding a new pope, it goes through that same tradition.
So it's interesting. They call it the College of Cardinals. They will convene in Rome to elect a new successor. And the conclave cannot begin until at least 15 days after the papal seat is vacated, and the Pope has to be put on display in his casket, which he has been, for proof that he is in fact dead.
Yeah.
That's part of the tradition. During the period, it's called the Carmelengo. It's also known as the Chamberlain. They oversee the limited church operations as an interim leader, so they do
okay.
have kind of a substitute leader. But there are 252 cardinals worldwide. Of these, 135 are under the age of 80, and those are eligible to vote. But
That
if
part I
you're
don't understand.
over 80, you're not eligible.
don't get to vote.
But the Pope can be 88.
Yeah, which I don't understand, but hey, it's
Hey,
tradition.
I
right.
almost wish that would bleed over to our politics here. It's like if you're over 80, you're probably not with
The
it.
only thing is, you're in, well, not power, but you're in that office until you pass away or
Yeah.
decide to walk
Yes,
away from it.
exactly. There are 16 cardinals in North America, 4 in Central America, 7 in South America, 18 in Africa, 23 in Asia, 53 in Europe, and 4 in Oceania. They will all convene to put in a ballot, a written ballot, and then of course we continue to watch the Vatican, because if you see the white smoke rising, that means they've picked someone. If black smoke comes from the Vatican, that means they've not made a
They've
decision.
not figured it out every day.
Yeah.
And I that part of the tradition I think is cool. I
Yeah.
like that. And because nowadays you can send a text message, hey, we found somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
To hold true to
Tom
that.
starts on Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like the NFL draft. You're on the
Right.
clock. A new pope is elected once a candidate receives at least 2/3 or 2/3 plus 1 if needed of the votes from the president cardinals.
It's
So-
very interesting. We'll
Yeah.
find out more, obviously, and this is a big process that's going to happen. That it was the Pope. And we'll keep you,
Yeah.
of course, updated on this and stuff. We got other great stuff happening.
Yes, we
in the world.
do. NASA is offering $3 million to anyone who can come up with a way to recycle human waste in space. The space agency's Lunar Recycle Challenge program calls on members of the public to propose a recycling program for long-haul space flights. The aim of the challenge is to prevent polluting outer space with more human space junk.
Yeah.
Experts,
Doo-doo.
doodle feces. Experts cite the waste left behind during previous moon missions as motivation to find a solution. NASA is currently reviewing the first round of proposals. So move aside blue ice. We're all about the space waste.
And if you think about it, because a lot of the human waste, some of it, depending if you're number 1, number 2, it gets reused, right? So
Up in space.
So we're talking about number 2. There's gonna be a lot of
Yeah.
number 2. I'm trying to keep it as adult as possible.
Thank
here.
you.
But they recycle their. That's
Well,
the
did you see The
urine.
Martian with Matt Damon?
Yeah, there you go. Apparently, they help you make potatoes
Yes.
really well too.
Grow a garden.
So if you think about that, I mean, and it's interesting to me though that we have been for 55 years, 56 years rather, we have been sending people up in space, and to now they're thinking, maybe we should probably do something about our space doo-doo.
Yeah, right,
Like you think like that
exactly.
plan would have been done earlier.
There's a bunch of just like space debris that floats around
Oh,
in
yeah.
the atmosphere. It's
There's 20
like,
Starlink
comical
satellites a
amount.
day going up there.
Yeah.
So why don't they do like does that stuff ever come back to Earth, or do they just shoot it out from their the International Space
It burns
Station
up in the
It
atmosphere.
just
Depends on what
burns
they
up,
eat.
yeah.
All our tax dollars going up and burning
in
up.
flames? Yeah, so it depends on what they ate.
All right.
Interesting.
Okay, well, rapper Lil Nas X checked into a hospital after losing some feeling in his face.
Oh,
He's only
God.
26 years old, and he shared a video from his hospital bed revealing his face paralysis. Later on, Lil Nas updated his status from home and said that he was doing much better. That's good news. No word on exact condition that landed him in the hospital. Many suggested he could be suffering from Bell's palsy. It's a condition where sudden weaknesses in the muscles on one side of the face, oftentimes brought on by a lot of stress. Symptom usually lasts about a few full weeks, with a full recovery in about 6 months. However, some people, I have a good friend, he had Bell's palsy, and he looks normal, but he doesn't look the same as he was before, where the side of his face is a little droopier. So it could, and he was a little bit older guy when it happened to him. But to be 26 years old and have to
Yeah.
deal with that is really scary. Stress is a big deal.
And like you had mentioned, sometimes it can be permanent. Other times it can, kind of fix itself and you can go back to normal. But, that's a 50-50 chance.
It's really odd when you see somebody like that. You see their face driven
Yeah.
down. And, I get my tongue swelled, my face was, first time it happened, I thought, oh my gosh, that's what it was. But thank
Yeah.
goodness that's not the case. We're going to be talking about bloggers rather. And, those kids that are on those mommy blogger websites and such,
Yes.
social media. Well, guess what? They might be getting a paycheck too and set up for life.
If you saw the Netflix documentary Bad Influence about a YouTube mom exposing all of these kids
Yeah.
to so many dangers online, this will be the interview you need to see because you've got some great questions. for
Absolutely, I
her.
certainly do. We'll have more
Yeah.
of today's trends, tomorrow's talk right here on Daily Flash. Stick around, y'all. Let's have some fun. Young too. Yeah. Hey, welcome back to Daily Flash. I'm Mitch English. Mommy bloggers, listen, it's time to pay up. You've profited from your kids on TikTok. Now you got to pay the piper. Your kids. Joining us to talk about this is Amanda Hoover. She's the senior correspondent for Business Insider. Amanda, thank you for joining us. There's states in the union right now, California, Utah, Illinois, Minnesota. They're all introducing this new legislation that's going to protect child influencers. But what really made this kind of go into action and for them to take action now?
Yeah, over the past couple of years, some of this started in like 2023, and we're seeing more states even consider doing this. But what happened was there were a couple of pretty high profile incidents of children being exploited, children being abused by their parents who were making this content and profiting off of this content. We also saw some activism from just young people who were saying, hey, this doesn't seem right that you're putting kids online. So some of this has been driven by Gen Z people who are becoming adults. Some of it has been driven by the most heinous stories online.
Yes.
Of this abuse and exploitation. So lawmakers are really finally stepping in and saying, like, we have to do something about this.
There is a special on Netflix that talks just about this. And there's even a video that has come out from mommy bloggers where they have the kid right next to them and it's the outtakes basically. And the kid's like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And the mom is actually making them do it. And that's not always the case. However, where that money goes is going to change, as you just mentioned. The new laws are now requiring that some of the earnings from the kids will be placed in trusts and then grants them the rights to either sue or demand those content deletion, which is actually more important in my opinion. Isn't this the same as Hollywood? It has to do with child actors and such?
Yeah, they're in a way, it's a lot of these are modeled off of the Coogan Law, which is a law that's been around for decades in Hollywood to ensure that child actors get paid. What's a little bit different here? If you're under 13, you really can't make your own accounts on a lot of these social media
Right.
platforms, or these kids appearing in their parents' videos. So the parents are the ones getting the money. The original law that deals more with child actors mandates that the employer puts this money in a trust. This mandates that parents do it. So it's kind of lacking in an enforcement mechanism. That's what critics say so far. It's going to be on the parents to do this, to put money away in a trust, to calculate how frequently children appear in their videos, because this doesn't apply to, anyone posting their kids online. The kids
Right.
have to appear in a kind of significant portion regularly for it to trigger this. So there's some concern that parents might not go ahead and do this. And the protection is that kids can then sue when they're 18. But, I don't know at age 18 that I would have been able to contact a lawyer, file a lawsuit. You're going to cause some strife in your family, I think, if you do that as well. So it's, I think people are seeing this as a good start, but wonder how enforceable it's going to be.
Well, you think about it, it's a business. If you go to a business, I'll pick out a radio station or TV station. When you go in, you have to see the public file, meaning that you look and you say, okay, everything's in a row. And it seems like these, if you have your kids on it, maybe they can go and say, hey, yes, here's the documentation that I did this. This actually kind of came to light. Ruby Frank, she actually, online fame actually masked some severe mistreatment. Have there been other high-profile cases influencing public perception about children influencers as well? And how has this kind of really motivated this?
Yeah, there are a few others. There's, a recent Netflix documentary dealing with this squad of kids that were all working in content creation for a YouTube channel. Some allegations there that there were abuse. The family there has denied it. The Ruby Franke case is among the most heinous. She is serving time in prison for child abuse. She's been convicted criminally. And she was in Utah. Her daughter has really spoken out a lot about this. That's kind of the inspiration behind Utah getting behind this. And Utah is also a place where we see a ton of child and parent influencers. It's a little bit of a hub for it. So they're moving, to try to make sure this exploitation doesn't happen again. I think part of the problem is that most of these laws really focus more on compensation, which is great. It
Yes.
recognizes that influencing is work, that children should get paid for the work that they're doing. But it doesn't necessarily, address the most heinous things like child abuse,
Right.
and things like that. Like that would still have to be uncovered in ways over time, which is unfortunate for any kids that are in situations like that. But it is definitely a step that's being taken. And I do want to just say that I think that most families that are doing this are not abusing or
Right.
exploiting their kids. There's probably a good chance that a lot will be proactive and open these trusts if they want to be good actors and care about the well-being of their children. These laws are kind of there as a mechanism for the most severe cases in which parents, don't do that.
You kind of, we talked about it, and I want to go back to it, but how do you think regulators are really going to enforce those new laws that are going to be into effect? Would it be paperwork? Would it be having, social services coming to the house? How do you expect to see that?
Yeah, well, what legal experts say about this is that there is no enforcement from the
Wow.
state. It's kind of on the kids when they're 18 to
Yeah.
realize that they might qualify for this and to go sue if they weren't taken care of and didn't have their money put into a trust. So that's one of the places where people see this as possibly weak and they wonder if lawsuits will come because regulators tend to not want to get involved in, the happenings in the home, in the
True.
family, unless there's these cases of severe child abuse. And that's what makes this so different than other forms of child labor. Historically, when we had kids in factories, coal mines, working in people's homes, other people's homes, it was easier to go in and kind of like get the kids out of there and for society to turn on that type of work. This is a little bit more of a gray area where it's like how much of this is natural, how much of this is staged. You can't totally know when you're watching from the outside.
No, you're absolutely right. And, you're talking about the coal mines and stuff. You can't edit out the bad stuff, that you can being an influencer and that sort of thing. It's interesting. It doesn't sound, with your investigation, I'm sure that you've seen all kinds of stuff, but where it's going to continue to happen because it's so easy to make this kind of money and that sort of thing. And I got to tell you, it's scary if you think about it too, because it really messes up these kids mentally too and these sort of things. Thank you so much for joining us. Now listen, if you want to find out more about these mommy blogger crackdowns, you can head over to businessinsider.com, get more information and read that article, of course, by Amanda Hoover. We got more of today's trends and tomorrow's talk. Stick around, you're watching Daily Flash.
Hey now, welcome to Preview Review, where we give you a sneak peek while we speak geek. I am Matt Doolittle, ladies and gentlemen, and we had quite a few huge announcements in the world of Star Wars come out of the Star Wars Celebration in Japan last week, so let's dive into it. The first big announcement is that this beautiful man is making his way into the Star Wars universe. Get ready to blast off again, Star Wars people, in your own way, if you get what I mean there. Star Wars Starfighter just announced at Star Wars Celebration, and none other than Ryan Gosling is suiting up for the galaxy far, far away. The film takes place 5 years after The Rise of Skywalker, with Gosling playing a brand new mystery character. Ladies, he's probably just as sexy in space as he is on Earth. Wait, what? No, never mind. Okay, moving on. Now, the next big announcement came because of The Mandalorian. It had a formal announcement of The Mandalorian and Grogu feature film. Now, The Force will return to theaters in a big way as The Mandalorian and Grogu hits the big screen on May 22nd, 2026, marking the first Star Wars film since the 2019's The Rise of Skywalker. Fans at Star Wars Celebration got an exclusive peek at the explosive footage featuring Mando battling flame troopers, collapsing AT-ATs, and a surprise debut of Sigourney Weaver's mystery new character. Naturally, Grogu stole the show, splashing around, levitating objects, and causing adorable chaos. Now, the formal trailer will hit online soon, but the sneak peeks and the leaks are online, and I just don't believe in those, so we are looking out for you and making sure you see it in an epic way. And to wrap it up, we finally get to find out what happens in the ongoing world of Ahsoka and who will be unfortunately replacing Ray Stevens after his untimely passing as Baylan Skoll. Ahsoka Season 2 gave fans a sneak peek behind the scenes, including our first look at Rory McCann as the new Baylan Skoll. Known for his role as in the Hound in Game of Thrones, McCann steps into the galaxy with serious presence, and in a force-filled twist, it was officially confirmed that Hayden Christensen will once again return as Anakin Skywalker. The hype for this one is strong. And a few other quick notes. A few new changes are coming to Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run at Disneyland and Walt Disney World, which will include scenes from The Mandalorian and Grogu, as well as some animated series coming out, one including Darth Maul coming to Disney+. So a lot of big Star Wars news. As you can tell, I am excited.
No doubt about it. And Maddie, what is pretty much, I guess, the vibe from everywhere, from Star Wars fans, like, well, pretty much like you, about all these new shows that are coming out now? What are people thinking?
Well, see, what we were hoping, and Bob Iger kind of said this earlier in the year, that they were going to pump the brakes a little bit on putting out all these Star Wars things and kind of really get back to the core material. And I guess they're like, nah, it's still making a lot of money, and Universal's starting that Epic Universe thing, so we're going to do some stuff at the parks and really kick this thing up. We're just going to keep going. We're going to shove more Star Wars, because what we don't want to happen is what happened to Marvel, and it just gets diluted, and you go, I don't want to watch that. There's too many storylines, too many people. Just focus on the core stuff, but it feels like they're trying to keep it together this time.
Absolutely. So we'll see that in a galaxy that's not really that far away for us, at least, right? So I remember Matt,
20 miles down the street.
Yeah.
By the way, you can check out Matt's preview reviews and so much more on our website at dailyflashshow.com. Let's jump into some other Hollywood entertainment stories. Looks like actor Josh Duhamel trading in his Hollywood life for a slice of Midwestern simplicity. Actor has actually built a home in Minnesota. He describes it as a perfectly off-the-grid place. Duhamel says it took him about 15 years to build the house himself, and he calls it a slice of heaven on earth away from those bright lights of Hollywood. Josh grew up in North Dakota. He's no stranger to quiet living and connecting with nature. It's something that he wants his two young kids to experience as they grow up. I love that. He's also described as a doomsday prepper, and he said that the cabin will be a safe haven in the event that things go south in the world and mushrooms take over the world. So keep that in mind. His remote home equipped with Starlink and a custom water filtration system as well. I'm married to a prepper.
Are you really? She's a prepper.
She is a prepper, but not like crazy, you know.
You don't have a full-on,
No, we don't have an arsenal or anything.
silo below the house.
Not-
Not
if we
yet.
had room, we would. But my end of the Evans, I get a package, and you know, I open it up, and it's a gas mask.
Shut the
And
front door.
she goes, well, I just want to test them out, make sure it's what we want. I'm going to get 2 more in case we now. And the thing is, I'm like, all right, I don't. First off, there's multi-uses for these gas masks. You know, first off, you know, that you could use them for.
Yes.
But it is scary to look at one of these things
Terrifying.
on, and at least, you know, Matt's like, hey, can we turn it into a bong? And I'm like, no, it's not what it's for. I think it's just be prepared for anything. She's one that prepares stuff, and we have those gardens out there as well.
Yes,
so.
it reminds me of the scene from Last of Us where she puts on the gas
You know,
mask
that's
and it
what I was
has the
thinking.
bong attached
That's
to
exactly
it.
what I
I'm
was
like,
thinking
well,
when I
okay, I
said
can
it.
see that makes sense. But yeah, but he describes himself as, you know, a doomsday prepper. That's, you know, that's his whole thing. Growing up in North Dakota, he has that Midwestern vibe about him. And I've always wondered, like, why he wasn't bigger in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Because he's a really good actor, gorgeous to look at, very personable, but he seems to have kind of removed himself from that Hollywood life. And after marrying and divorcing Fergie, maybe he just got burnt out and said, I'm done.
Probably, and when you have kids, that changes your
That is
perspective on a
true.
lot. And then when you're afraid that mushrooms will take over,
Yeah.
you really get your priorities straight. More Flash after this.
This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. Trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mitch English.
And I'm Andrea Jackson. This is Daily Flash, today's trends, tomorrow's talk.
We love having you along for the ride here. We'll be checking with Matt Doolittle coming up in just a few as well. Lots of big things and great things happening in the world.
So, if you weren't already terrified about AI and deep fakes, teenagers are using apps to nudify their classmates.
Oh, really?
Deep nudes, nude fakes, they're calling them nudify apps, where they can take a picture of someone from a yearbook, paste it on someone else's body, and also add voice technology from all of your TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and then create this complete deep fake of your classmate totally nude and doing some sort of porn scene.
You know, we laughed at this kind of in the Running Man, not the Running Man, the Total Recall.
Yes.
You remember this?
Yes.
And where he was talking to himself and he was talking to Sharon Stone. And I was like, that's never gonna happen. It's never gonna be that close. I'm telling you, it is. It's here.
It's a problem. And it's not just a problem for adults. And of course, there's revenge porn and all of these other things. And Congress has come forward and they claim they're going to do something about it, whether they do or not. The Senate's passed a vote with regard to this kind of stuff. But when you talk about teenagers, you know, already if you're sharing a nude photo of someone, that could be a federal offense. And that goes down on your permanent record.
And
so
the defense would be, well, it's not really them. I just put their face on it, right? But
it could be.
But is
sure.
their law set up for that?
Right, exactly. And like, how do you know? Like in a court of law, you're using someone's image and you're casting it on something else to disparage that individual, and you're sharing it with thousands of people.
And we go, well, hey, look, you can always say it's fake, but there's also something psychological that when you see something like that,
Yes.
that your mind does, I'm certain, goes down a line saying, well, there's probably, I could see this person doing that because I literally saw somebody do that, even though it might be them. I think with teenagers being able to do this, it's really kind of scary.
Yes.
I think the only way that you could defend yourself, I would be imagine with the metadata that's inside the video saying, okay, this was whatever. But how about when it gets to the point where that metadata can be manipulated to where it's like, no, this says it was a real video
Yeah.
altogether. So it's a big deal.
It's still a psychological mess
Psychological,
thing because say someone prints them up, puts them all over the school, puts them on the group's Facebook page or something like that, and then the kid sees it. Next thing you know, then they have mental health problems because of that.
Right.
Here's the thing, and I didn't even know that goat. So there's no way. They could,
Look, hey, that one time in Vegas, well, three times
okay,
in
but,
Vegas.
but yes, in Vegas. But you can't tell. I was in Des Moines
I mean, the
in
goat.
this video.
But
I mean,
you
the
were
goat
of
was
age,
embarrassed.
though,
I was
weren't
of
you?
age.
You were 21.
Not whole sure the
The
goat.
goat of age?
No, the goat was embarrassed.
There was no goat.
Hey,
The goat said it wasn't him.
In goat years, yes.
Billy and I are great friends to this day.
That's a good thing.
We went into an agreement.
Yes.
We didn't, let's get me out of this.
Yes.
Altogether. Talk about fake stuff.
You both signed the
We
paperwork.
signed the paperwork.
Ladies and
Still in the
gentlemen,
goat?
We're moving on from the goat. Ladies and gentlemen, the results are in when it comes to natural versus plump. Lips. Lips.
Oh, okay.
Lips. And men prefer, drumroll please,
There it is.
the natural lips.
Yeah.
The Angelina Jolie version. Scientists at the University of Sydney showed 32 students a series of computer-generated faces with different lip sizes. Both male and female participants preferred a more natural-looking lip on both sexes. However, ladies rated fuller lips more attractive when judging other women. So much like fashion, I feel sometimes women do plastic surgery for other women. They do it because they want to look like that for other women as a competition, not so much as an attractiveness. It's the same way they dress, they choose certain things to wear, where men are like, what the hell are you wearing?
Why?
And then
Yeah.
the girl's like, oh my God, you look fantastic. Why did you get that?
Because I think other women would go out and say that.
Yes.
And you can't say, like, if you're on a date and another guy says, oh, you look great, a man would hold back from saying that because she's with another
Yes.
complete sense. More of today's trends, tomorrow's talk.
This is Tim. Tim is all about time, and if you've ever had a chance to look into Tim's cold, dead eyes, you'll see that it's time for you to follow us on social media. Sure, there's 10,000 social sites out there, and we don't have the time to name them all. Seriously, just ask Tim. So take the time to look for Daily Flash TV on your favorite social sites and start following us. That's all the time, Tim. Goodbye.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Daily Flash.
I'm Mitch English along with Andrea Jackson. You know, last year's hit movie, The Fall Guy, brought some much needed attention to the role of stunt performers and Hollywood's continued Oscar snub when it comes to their work.
You need to bring him back. Jodie's movie is dead.
Why me?
You're a stuntman. Nobody's gonna notice you. That's your job. No offense.
I mean, some taken.
Well, it's kind of true. He's right. She's right. Now the Academy Awards has announced they will finally honor stunt performers with a new category recognizing their art form. After decades of just trying to convince the people behind Oscar to honor stuntmen and women, the Academy has agreed. The first award for stunt design will be presented in 2028, honoring movies that were released in 2027. Last year, they announced a new category for casting directors, which will be a part of next year's award show.
It's so hard to believe that stunt performers are not recognized by Oscar.
To this day,
To this
yes.
day. And, you know, obviously they recognize more art movies than they do action movies, but the fact that they contribute so much to all of these movies boggles my mind. And when Fall Guy came out, I remember people saying, "You're kidding me, stunt performers are not up for Oscars?"
They should be, 100%.
They should be.
It makes complete sense here. We'd love to know what you think about this. And is it about time? Flash at dailyflashshow.com. Check it out. All right. Well, look, national parks provide the absolute perfect backdrop for family adventures. They offer outdoor activities, wildlife, and lasting memories. Here's more.
If anyone knows her way around America's massive national park system, it's America's park ranger, Ash Nudd. She's worked as a park ranger in Utah, Alaska, and Wyoming, and she now shares her expertise as the official hiking concierge for vacation club brand Worldmark by Wyndham. Here's more.
America's 63 national parks attract serious hikers, but also allow beginners and families to reset, take things slow, and appreciate nature's beauty.
While many travelers may associate national parks with camping in RVs, today's adventurers can upgrade to more comfortable options.
If your family plans to explore the parks, I recommend staying at a nearby Worldmark resort. Worldmark properties feature all the comforts of home with multi-bedroom suites, separate living and dining spaces, and fully equipped kitchens. Plus, most suites feature an in-suite washer and dryer for easy cleanup after hiking.
For more information on Worldmark's hiking concierge program and to start planning your trip, visit extraholidays.com/hike.
There is hopeful new research when it comes to relieving back pain. Here's Dr. Natalia Serrano with more.
Hi, thank you for having me. So at a Bayer Medical Affairs employee, I found the study to be very interesting. It examined over 300 trials of non-surgical, non-interventional treatment options for the relief of low back pain. And it found that amongst the few that were found to be successful for the management of acute low back pain are NSAIDs. NSAIDs stand for non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, and they're the types of active ingredients found in products such as Bayer aspirin and Bayer Aleve that help relieve acute low back pain. The study reaffirms the role of NSAIDs as a science-backed option, underscoring their value as non-opioid first-line care treatment for low back pain. And you know, it's very reassuring to find these treatment options like NSAIDs that are efficacious and validated by these rigorous, robust, placebo-controlled scientific studies. Acute pain is short-term, it appears suddenly, it does not last for more than 6 months, and it is usually the result of injury, surgery, or illness. And it's essentially your body's way of raising its hand and saying, hey, there's something wrong here. So it's all about keeping a healthy lifestyle. So eating healthy, sleeping well, sleeping on a supported mattress, exercising, keeping hydrated, avoiding lifting heavy things. All of these are strategies that will help you manage your low back pain. So we want to encourage people to talk to their healthcare providers about their back pain, about the different treatment options like NSAIDs that are out there, because all pains are not the same and it really goes beyond the pain. It's about providing people with these accessible, non-surgical, non-interventional, evidence-based options like NSAIDs that may be an option for people to relieve their acute low back pain and to get back to living their lives.
Well, as the class of 2025 prepares to enter the workforce, there are some new challenges ahead. Joining us right now with more is career expert Brandy Britton. Brandy, thank you so much. Let's talk about some of the biggest hurdles that are facing these college graduates today when it comes to entering the workforce. What are they?
Our Robert Half research tells us more than 71% of professionals are having a difficult time getting an interview and even getting their resume seen.
Wow.
It's a competitive job market. So to stand out, we recommend being flexible to on-site work, consider contract work, be ready to showcase those communication skills, both written and verbal, and have realistic expectations when it comes to your starting salary. Even if you have a terrific college advisor, mentor, friend of the family, These days, you need more, and that's where we come in.
All right, there's some advice you got to have for those college graduates that maybe are a little uncertain about what career path to take. What are they?
It's certainly common for college graduates to be uncertain about their career path. And a really good place to start is to have conversations with career experts or recruiters. They understand the job market, they understand what roles are in demand. In fact, based on our experience with college graduates, great place to start is human resources, administrative support, and accounting and finance, where there's a well-documented shortage of skilled accounting professionals. And last but not least, consider contract opportunities. Contract opportunities allow you to test the waters, get experience, have access to different industries, all of which make you more marketable in the moment and into your future career.
All right, quickly, where can folks go if they want to find out and get some help with their job search?
RobertHalf.com.
Sounds good. Thanks for joining us. We'll post this on our website, dailyflashshow.com.
Easter has some surprising new food trends this spring. Here's how they're showing up and staying on the menu throughout the entire year.
Baked beans might be a summer classic, but they can also bring a deliciously unexpected twist to your spring menu. Registered dietitian Amy Goodson has more.
Baked beans aren't just for summer. They're a tasty, easy addition to any spring meal. From Easter and springtime brunches to weekday dinners, Bush's baked beans bring rich taste, quick prep, and serious versatility, whether serving them straight from the can or adding your own twist.
From savory brunch bowls to traditional favorites, beans are finding their way into all kinds of seasonal dishes.
There are so many ways to enjoy baked beans. Try a build-your-own brunch bowl with a base like rice or sweet potatoes. Then add chicken, Bush's baked beans, coleslaw, tomatoes, creamy avocado, and a kick of jalapeno. I also love Grandma's favorite Bush's baked beans, loaded with beef, bacon, smoked sausage, and veggies. It's full of flavor and nostalgia, perfect for spring get-togethers.
For more baked bean inspiration and recipes, visit bushbeans.com. That's bushbeans.com.
Thank you there. All right, now we got some very important advice to help secure your kids' financial future.
Parents' number one financial concern is how the trade-off decisions they're making today will impact their children's financial future.
Raising financially savvy kids starts with having open and honest conversations about money. Financial advisors are powerful resources and can help parents determine the best way to maximize their hard-earned savings by creating a detailed financial plan.
Visit Ameriprise.com/parents for tips to help you navigate your family finances with confidence.
We are talking spring, summer style and how to dress for every occasion. Joining us now is lifestyle expert Tiffany Reed. Hi, Tiffany.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to tell you about Old Navy's spring summer collection. It's really inviting everyone to dress for the occasion. This new category of elevated dresses and separates were really made in response to the customer. They were already going to Old Navy for dresses and their go-tos, but they wanted to step up their style and elevate their look for evening. Everything was designed by the in-house Old Navy team led by Sarah Holm, who is Old Navy's head of design, and of course, legendary designer and Old Navy's chief creative officer, Zach Posen, really lent his expertise to perfect the seams, the fit, and all those additional details. So it truly is bringing red carpet to real life for an affordable price, which I think is just unbeatable. So the prices range from $24.99 to $65.99, and it includes 12 dresses and a skirt set that match with crop top and the skirt. I'm also wearing it in black, and I threw this Old Navy blazer over it. And I love it because it's all these elevated fabrics like taffeta and chiffon, and you can find so many prints throughout the collection. Those prints are actually hand painted by our in-house print team, and the design team focus on versatility, effortlessness, and of course, confidence. I think confidence is really the key to this collection and really why Old Navy is very loved by their customers, because they want to create confidence in their customers. And one way they are doing that is by having a size run that really works for everybody. It goes from extra small to 4X, 0 to 30, and then also petite to tall. So there's really something for everybody. And then if you look at these pieces, they have something with a shorter hemline like this pink dress here. So if you like showing off your legs, this might be the one for you. If you prefer to show your shoulders and have a more modest hemline, then the slip dress I think is perfect. And if you're being a little bold like I'm being today and want to show off your midriff, the crop set is perfect. So for more info, you can go to oldnavy.com, and the spring collection is available now. And then summer styles are launching April 21st online and in select stores around the country. New styles are continuing to drop throughout the year, so stay tuned for them.
Daily Flash continues on. We got to check in with our friends at the Daily Buzz right here on Daily Flash.
Primary immunodeficiencies are rare and chronic conditions that disrupt the immune system, making patients susceptible to severe recurring infections.
Without antibodies, I have no way to be able to fight against disease or illnesses, whether it's viral, bacterial, fungal, or whatever. So I get human-derived plasma, and the antibodies that's in that plasma is given to me through IV every other week.
But plasma can only be derived from human blood.
The plasma donation process is fairly simple. You're required to have some identification. The first time you would have some health screening, a health questionnaire, and an exam to make sure that the donor was healthy enough, in fact, to donate the plasma. The plasma donation time would take about an hour.
The plasma is extracted and the blood cells are returned to the donor. So people can donate twice a week with 48 hours in between. Get more information at octapharmaplasma.com and primaryimmune.org.
So some parents are worried about a new super skinny body trend for boys. It's dominating social media right now. One professor who specializes in pediatrics claims dieting is no longer for just girls. The teacher thinks actors like Timothée Chalamet are inspiring a new generation of thin men. There are a number of online communities dedicated to getting the actor's tiny cinched waist, believe it or not. According to a 2023 study, 1/3 of teen boys in the U.S. are now obsessed with losing weight. There's also something called looks maxing, which is adding to the hype. It focuses on reshaping jawlines and cheekbones to up someone's sexual market value.
And that's such a pivotal age that they're doing
Yes.
it, and if they're moving away, it's not a good thing at all. We got more Flash coming up right after this. Before we head into the weekend, we always like to give you our picks for streaming for the weekend. We tell you about what you got to check out on your streaming services. We start off with AJ.
Okay, so Alan picked this one out for us, and I watched it. I was like, what is this? My pick for this weekend is Titanic, The Digital Resurrection, now streaming on Hulu and Disney+.
This digital twin is the most impactful thing since the wreck was first found.
Here, we really see the power of the simulation.
Wow.
We are around 12,000 feet at the bottom of the ocean, looking up at the Titanic.
This is crazy. This new documentary explores the process of piecing together more than 700,000 scanned images to create a life-like giant 3D version of the legendary sunken cruise ship, down to the last detail.
And they've got to go quick because they're saying more and more of it just keeps dissolving quicker and quicker.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: we keep on sending those people want to go down there and look at it and wind up dying and implode it. And so this is an
just go look at this.
Yes,
or go to Pigeon Forge.
Yeah,
All right. Well, my pick this week is one of my favorite comedians, and he has a new special on Hulu, and it's Bill Burr with Drop Dead Years.
I'm 56. This is too young to die of natural causes, but it's not too young to drop dead, right? Dropping dead is a uniquely male experience, right? When was the last time some woman, hey, I can't have my mouth done, just grabs her chest and face down into some tapas? Oh my God, Kathy!
I love Bill Burr. I just scream loud. I watch these on the treadmill and I almost fall off while I'm watching them.
He had that movie out last year, Bobby Cannavale, about old men.
Yeah.
Great
It's
movie.
great. It's really
And
funny.
it was really, and I love him too, just as great. All right, Black Gold, Texas tea. No, we're not talking about millionaires anymore. We're talking about billionaires. And Billy Bob Thornton, he's a landman.
The world has already convinced itself that you are evil and I am evil. For providing them the one thing they interact with every day.
Billy Bob Thornton, John Hamm, Demi Moore, and a whole herd of Taylor Sheridan's friends and country stars. They make Landman a must-see. The first season is out. Second season already going to be in production right now. This is a great show.
So good.
And it's against the grain of what maybe the narrative you might have been hearing about oil. It gives you a balanced side of what happens actually in Texas. And I find it interesting because it's a great
So
story along
good.
with it. It's unbelievable.
Oh, good.
Thank you all for joining us. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.